Hey guys, once again it's another weekend and it's time to work on the boat. Getting a little bit of a late start this morning. I kind of slept in. I meant to set my alarm for 8 o'clock this morning and we went out last night with some friends and listened to a live band, and I woke up to my phone ringing and Dad was out front. I had way overslept. It was about 9:15, so ran downstairs and got ready, and so now we're finally getting to work at about 10:30. We did about 30 minutes of work, kind of some prep work, which I'll show you here in a second. But where we left off is we got the cap back on the boat for a test fit, and it fit absolutely perfect. With the exception is the hull actually was too narrow, not too wide. But once we figured out what the problem was, is if you have the edge of the hull that comes up right here and the cap that comes over, the cap actually doesn't sit on the hull. It actually kind of sits just barely, and the tank structure is what supports it, and there was no tank structure, so therefore it fell down over it. Once we lifted it up and screwed it down and kind of test fitted it, it went perfectly fine. So the hull did not flare out, which is, that's a huge relief. We got a couple, left it all week just with the screws in it, just to kind of see how it worked, and it stayed fine. This morning we got out here and we assembled the tank structure. Now, this is the old tank structure. This is not the new tank structure. All I did was put everything that we had old back together, so that way we can test fit it and make sure it's okay before we cut all new parts. Yes, one side of it is rotten, but we're going to take that into consideration whenever we put it back together. But at least this will get us, we don't waste a lot of wood, and we can put it in there and make sure we're 100% before we actually try to do this for real. So with that being said, we're going to take this piece right here and we're going to move it over here, and you're fixing to get a surprise. Look at that. We've got the cap rigged up to where we can actually lift it up off the boat with we've got a half-ton engine hoist on the ceiling here, through bolted into the floor joist. And then I have the Dad, being the sailor that he is, he rigged up the knot system to hold the boat, and it is nice and sturdy. We're able to lift it up and down with ease. And do our test fitting. So therefore, and then we try to get it as close to the center of gravity as possible, but it seems like the center of gravity is actually between two studs, and I can't get it exactly right. But everything is absolutely laid out the way we need it now, so we're going to take this piece and put it in there. And the gas tank had about 13 gallons of fuel in it, old fuel, probably 7.5, 8 years old. So what we did this morning is I went to Home Depot and I got me 3 5-gallon buckets, and we dumped it all in there, and then we're going to seal them up and take it to our local recycling facility, so that way we dispose of them right. I don't even feel comfortable putting them in and even mixed them with good fuel. It looks so bad. So now we're going to lower the cap back down, get it to where we can actually get the structure here up and over and lay it down into the hull, and then slide. What we're going to do is we're going to lay it down in the hull and we're going to slide it forward, and then lower and then raise this back up and then lower it down and see exactly where we sit. And if it's good, we're going to start cutting wood.
Watch your fingers, whatever you do. All right. And that board right there.
That's it.
Not doing things as much as we should.
What? What's that?
Yes. We're not on back here.
Okay. Every time you do that, I can see it pivot over this.
Well, I've got about that much more to go. If you want this nose down to where the line was, to even up with the screw holes about that much.
Okay.
Come here and you take a look at it yourself.
Well, here's the thing. I'm wondering, bless you, if we're still way down on this side. Let's do this. Let's do an experiment. Let's put some screws in because it's still laying way too low, like we had the problem before. Let's get this up where it needs to be and see if it makes a difference. Down, right there. Okay, what we found is that the starboard side is just a teensy bit too high. And you can see it was actually kind of pushing down on this. We'll reinforce that with a little bit of fiberglass later on, but it was keeping the cap from going down. I think it was like that from the factory, but we need to take about a ½ inch off this side all the way down, put it back in, retest fit. But I think that that's all we're going to need to do is probably take that ½ inch off and we'll be good to go. This well. Now we need to also cut us a piece that goes across here to hold this in, and we're going to cut another 1x1 right there.
What are these pockets for?
Got hoses. These hoses come out. Yeah, right. What I'm doing here is putting some peanut butter on the bottom of this tank support so that way we can glue it to the deck. You have to do this in stages. You can't just glue the whole structure in because then the peanut butter is going to squish out in places where you're not able to put a proper fillet on it, and it's going to cause problems. So we're all about doing it right here, so it's going to take us a couple, 3 extra steps, but I know it's going to be done right. Now, this side will not get a fillet per se because it is where the other piece of wood will sit. Maybe one of those paint scrapers or something. On the inside, this is what I was talking about. If you left the floor on here of the gas tank and structure, it would not
Get too far forward, huh?
it would not allow you to do the filleting. And I'm flicking resin all in my hair. I'm just putting some fillets on the front here, just as a final touch. And we're going to put some weight on here to make sure that it's perfect. Oh, yeah. These might be kind of nice. Okay, I'm ready. Alright, now we're just tabbing in this these two pieces. I'm coating it as I go with resin on the top part. We're not going to completely cover this in glass, and I'll explain why later. But all I'm doing is taking one little tab of 1708 all the way around, which is more than enough for this whole thing. And then we'll put the floor of the tank in here after this is all kicked off. But all you need for this, for strength, we just peanut buttered it to the deck. Stainless steel screws to the 2x3s on the floor. And then basically add a layer of 1708, and that's going to hold it strong as steel. So that's what I'm doing right now. And as soon as this kicks off, we'll put the floor in here and glue it in with some PL. Well, we have been moving right along this morning. The GoPro would not work for some reason. I had a problem with the firmware I just installed, so we just went ahead and moved along, and I'll just tell you exactly what I did. We got the floor of the gas tank installed, and we've got these uprights completely tabbed into the deck, and the floor is peanut buttered down and screwed down and then covered up with tabbed in with 1708 again and a layer of chop strand mat. Now, you remember a few minutes ago I was talking about, or actually a couple hours ago, I was talking about I'm not going to cover all of this in chop strand because honestly, the stuff that came from the factory, this was all bare wood other than just having paint on it. And it had no rot whatsoever, where the rot was at the bottom. So we fixed all that with all the 1708 and chop strand and everything like that, so it's not going to have a problem with wicking water up from the bottom. So as long as you take care with doing the end grains up here, this is a vertical surface and water runs off the surface. Where rot comes from is from sitting. So it sits in water and it wicks it up. If water may splash on it for a second, it's not the end of the world. And you're just adding a lot more weight and a lot more expense to having to cover those in chop strand all over. It's not that big of a deal on vertical stuff. I did that on my C-Ray also. All the forward seat boxes are not glassed 100%. It's just tabbed in with 1708, covered in all resin, let it soak in really good, and then we go back over with paint. And that's going to keep it nice and sealed. So that's where we are right now. We're fixing to test fit the tank. I think I got the GoPro fixed, so I'm going to go bring it back out here. And then the tank is just going to slide in. We're going to take a couple of measurements and make sure we're okay. And then this... Recognize this? This is my floor mat that went in front of my tank over here, and I used the other floor mat for my C-Ray. This is to hold for the gas tank to sit on. It's made of recycled tires. That's all it is. We're going to cut it in strips, and then we're going to glue it in to there to hold the tank in. Then we provide nice, great support, and then we've got a piece of 1x1 that's going to go across the top to keep the tank from bouncing, and we've got a piece of 1x1 going across the front when we're all said and done. There's the other pieces we've been kind of neglecting to get taken care of. The two 2x4s actually go for the swim ladder attachment. You see the two gray spots over there? It's just two 2x4s slathered in resin and screwed down. That's all it is with PL glue behind it. Pretty simple. And then the other two we have, you see the two holes right there? That's where the ski eyes go through, or tie downs. And those are just 3/4 inch plywood. We covered that in resin. We're going to screw that down as soon as it kicks off. And then those are the two cross braces for the gas tank. One's going to go forward, one's going to go on top of the gas tank to kind of keep it from bouncing out. And of course, we'll coat those in gray paint whenever it's all said and done. So I'm going to go get the GoPro, set it up, and let you guys watch as we try to test fit the tank, make sure it's all 100%. It's always nervous whenever you finish putting stuff together and you have to install it now. me see that tank. Let's see if... Here we go with the painting. We're just using Rust-Oleum enamel. I'm not using any hardener in this stuff just because we got plenty of time to let it dry. In the bilge area, we're going to use a hardener for sure. Just because I want it also super, super hard. This will probably take us 2 coats is what I'm betting.
It's covering pretty good.
Yeah, it is covering okay, but I've still got some light spots. And all of this in here is going to be carpet. Even this, what I'm painting right now, will be carpet. We're just trying to get that extra layer of sealant. Make it look pretty. Can you reach into this? Mm-hmm. One thing with enamel you got to remember, you put 1 coat down and stop. Because what's going to happen is if you keep going over it and over it, it starts pulling itself up again. So you have to let it completely, you know, not completely, but tack up a little bit before you go back over it again. So just take the paintbrush, get it sloppy, and then just kind of rub it off, and then just start going on the inside, start on these edges. And then just kind of do this. There you go, just like that. No. See how you dribble? You got to do this to get rid of the excess. You see how it's lighter when you're putting it on? You just want to make sure you make it all light.
Can you get under?
Yeah, you can. What I'm doing here is I'm actually cutting out the fiberglass that was put over the cutout hole whenever we were glassing the transom. You got to do this sooner or later, and I found that the best tool to do this is my little Dremel tool with a, it's a special type of drill bit that allows you to cut sideways like that. It kind of looks like spirals all the way down. It's a kind of an interesting looking bit. But it's mild and it's nasty, but it actually does a great job of cutting that glass right up against the wood and make it nice and neat. So I use this to cut out the transom hole and the drain hole down below. Whew, that's a mess.
Oh my gosh.
All done. I just got to clean it up, sand it up, make it look pretty. All right, what we're doing here, we've lowered the cap back down, and we're trying to get this total instrument cluster out of here. And what I like doing, because we are replacing everything in this instrument cluster, all the gauges, all the switches and everything. We're pulling out all the breakers right now, and we've labeled them. This is plexiglass, and you cannot find these. These are not reproduction at all. So we're having to be very, very careful because I want to polish this and bring it back to a good source or a good shine. But we're replacing everything, so we're having to take them all out and reassemble them. So that way I don't forget where stuff goes. Yes, you could label it, but trust me, you're still going to have problems. We're going to get everything else and get this Lexan or plexiglass out of the way, and that way we can polish it and I can get to work on other stuff on this boat. We've got to replace the entire steering mechanism because it's actually broken down in there. One more expense for this boat. So with these switches, you have to pinch this back piece here, get it to come through. God, it's so hard to remember.
It's got like 5 plugs on it.
think you can remember that?
I don't know where to go. Top one?
Right there.
Okay, that's side.
1 second. Okay, hold these two.
Bottom, side and bottom.
That's the bottom one.
And red and orange, red's top.
The only thing wrong with these switches is the fact that they're just weather beaten. All the wiring and everything in this boat is very, very good shape.
Okay, what was that?
This right here is our anchor and nav lights. All right, what we're doing now is we're trying to get this full Teleflex steering out of here. We're just gonna buy a whole new one because this rack down here is broken at the end and it will not hold steady inside the deal. And there's basically, to pull the steering wheel off, all I did was just loosen up the nut. I don't know if you can see this or not. Yeah, right out here. Loosened up the nut and tapped this with the hammer just a little bit because we're all replacing it, so it doesn't matter. And it just fell apart. That's all it did. Real easy. And then now we're taking their 7/16 inch nuts on here to get this out. This will help keep that steering wheel out of our way while we're working. Can you see it?
Yeah.
They got backer plates on them. No, it's got a C-clip on it. You need a tool to get this off. I think I've got one of these tools. Let me go look in my toolbox. This is the tool that you need right here. What it does is it releases this little C-clip that's inside of this thing to allow you to get it off. And it usually requires a lot of coordination. There we go. You see how it works? You get this little thing. When you press it, it opens it up so you can get it in there. Real easy. There's another one back here. I see it. It's actually back here. It's the first one I've ever taken apart, guys, so don't laugh.
Now, is it going to come out that way or is it going to go? Ta-da!
This is what's wrong. You see this piece right here? There's supposed to be a plastic stop. And so I have that much play before you get any type of movement in the steering at all.
Plastic thing.
Yep, it's all broken. So we're just gonna, I think we're just gonna try to replace just this part, which goes all the way back to the steering mechanism, which is, I guess it's about time anyway to go ahead and replace it. But it looks like the helm area is just fine. But this right there, that is no good. All right, guys, we're kind of wrapping up the end of the day here, and we just got the dashboard off here, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna give this a couple of seconds and see what in the world we can do to kind of make this look better. And you know, I've been talking about polishing this up, so I'm gonna take my old trusty clean cut here, and we're gonna see if we can even bring this back a little bit, which I'm confident we can. I'm just taking a little bit of this, and we're gonna daub it on here, and we're gonna start polishing. You can hear, listen, how you can hear how rough it is. Really, we probably can take a 2000 grit sandpaper first to get rid of this roughness, but I just want to see what this is going to do, that's all. I'll take Take a little bit more. You see all the dirt that comes off, all the years of neglect and nastiness. And now it's getting less and less of that sound, of that roughness. Let's just see.
Can't even see yourself. Huh?
Yeah, you can. It came back real nice. Still think we probably ought to take some 2000 grit sandpaper to it, but that shows you what it does.
Here
Yeah,
to there.
you can see your reflection in it now.
Wow.
Still got some sand scratches, but at least that's, you know, what you're going to be looking at there. I can see some pitting, which that's what the 2000 grit will take care of. We'll just
No, all of this has to be done.
yes to
Same
the
thing,
to the hole
to the hole.
hole itself. You can actually see here on what the original color of the hole used to be. Look how pretty this is. This is the padding that we took off, and you can see what the original is. That's what we're striving for whenever we get done polishing this boat. Man, we got a lot done today. I tell you. We got the electrical somewhat sorted out. We know what's going on. I know that looks like a jumble of mess of wires down there, but I know what's going on. It all makes sense to me. We got rid of some excess stuff, and then also removed the entire Teleflex steering all the way back to there. Got it out of the boat, so that way we can measure it. It's sitting on the floor right here by Dad's feet. We measured the whole thing out at right at 15 feet, and we need to replace that, so that will get on order. We've also made our entire list of everything we need to buy. Well, I'm sure it's going to grow, but look at that. I can't even get it in the camera shot. That's all the stuff we have to buy. The little miscellaneous garbage and stuff like that we have to make this happen. We got the swim ladder and tie down things glued in and drying. Let me see what else we get done. We got the dash cleaned up. We got the gas tank enclosure in and painted. I tell you, that Rust-Oleum dried fast. It's probably soft, but it is very, very dry. Cleaned up everything. Dad removed the padding. It's over there, so that way we can make our patterns whenever we get ready to do it. Just kind of make sure that we're moving along, because we finished kind of early with this stuff, and we're like, hey, we got other stuff we need to do. So the next steps are get the tank in, get the cap completely secured down, and then we start polishing. And that's the next thing, because it's a nasty, dirty job, and we don't want to get polish on any carpet or anything like that we're going to have in here. So we're going to do it before we lay carpet.
Tank in here and carpet in.
Yeah, that's true. We're going to put the tank in. I know you can't see it, but the carpet's going to go in there also in the forward part, and it will stop right about there. So anyway, that's done for this weekend. We'll hit it again as soon as we can and keep this project rolling. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.